For centuries, the Anunnaki have fascinated both historians and mystery seekers. These ancient gods of Sumer were said to descend from the skies, sharing knowledge beyond human understanding. But what if their influence didn't stop there? What if their reach extended to a completely different part of the world? Ancient China. Today we're going into an idea that's rarely been explored, the secret connection between the Anunnaki and one of the oldest civilizations on Earth. The temples, the dragons, the pyramids of China. Could they be linked to something even more mysterious? What if the gods who once walked among the Sumerians also visited ancient China? Welcome back to History Chibi. This is Chibi. I'm back narrating as I've received much positive support from you all. So for those who prefer James, I'm sorry. I do have a cold as well, so I'm sorry if my voice sounds a little off. But here we go. Before we go any further, it's important to remember, yes, the good old disclaimer, everything we discuss in this video blends historical facts with speculative ideas. This is an educational exploration that encourages curiosity, but the theories we'll look at are just that, theories. We are not presenting any of this as proven fact. Our goal is to explore interesting connections and ask questions, but ultimately you decide what to believe. It's important to think critically and view these ideas with an open yet skeptical mind. With that said, I wanted to give a big shout out to our Senator member, SNHU student. Your incredible support is what keeps this channel going and allows us to explore history's greatest mysteries. And don't forget to check out the History Chibi merch. If you love digging into ancient history and mysterious stories, you'll love our collection. Plus, your support helps me continue to bring these fascinating topics to life. You can view some of the products below this video or just go to historychibi.shop. That's historychibi.shop. So back to the big question. Could the Anunnaki, with their incredible knowledge of the stars, have influenced not just Sumer, but ancient China too? Could the myths and monuments of these two great civilizations be connected in ways we haven't yet understood? Stay with me because what we're about to discover might change the way we think about the ancient world. Chapter 1: A Brief History on the Anunnaki. The Anunnaki, a name that sparks fascination and curiosity. In Sumerian myth, they were gods, beings who descended from the heavens and shaped the fate of humanity. Some say they were more than gods, extraterrestrial visitors bringing advanced knowledge of the cosmos. Sumerians believed these deities controlled everything. They created humanity. They built great cities like Uruk and Babylon. They governed life and death, time and destiny. But the most intriguing part, the Anunnaki were said to possess incredible technology that seemed far beyond what ancient civilizations should have had. Cosmic maps, tools to manipulate the stars, advanced architecture that still baffles archaeologists today. Could this knowledge have crossed borders? Could the Anunnaki have shared their secrets with another great civilization? A civilization on the other side of the world? Chapter 2: Ancient Chinese Myths. Ancient China is a land where the divine and celestial intermingle with the mortal. In this chapter, we explore how the ancient Chinese understood the cosmos and how their gods and mythological figures might reveal deeper connections to the Anunnaki. Let's start with Pangu, the legendary creator of the universe. His story is as foundational to Chinese mythology as the Anunnaki are to Sumerian lore. According to legend, Pangu was the first being born from an egg of chaos. For 18,000 years, he grew inside that cosmic egg until one day he split it open. He raised the heavens above and pressed the earth below, creating the world as we know it. Pangu's sacrifice was immense. When he died, his body became the very elements of nature. His eyes became the sun and moon, his breath the wind, his voice the thunder. In this tale, Pangu not only shapes the physical world, but also creates the balance of the cosmos, much like the Anunnaki's role in organizing the universe and governing the stars. While Pangu's story focuses on the birth of the world, it echoes creation myths found in Sumer. The Sumerian gods, too, were credited with shaping the earth and the heavens. In both cultures, creation isn't simply the formation of land and sky. It is the setting of cosmic order, the delicate balance between the elements. Both myths suggest that divine beings possessed knowledge of the universe far beyond that of mortal understanding. Then we meet Huangdi, the Yellow Emperor. According to Chinese legend, Huangdi wasn't just any ruler, he was a celestial being. It is said that he descended from the heavens to rule China, arriving in a chariot drawn by dragons. Huangdi's reign brought about tremendous advancements. He is credited with introducing the first calendar, laying the foundations for Chinese medicine, and teaching the people how to cultivate silk. But what makes Huangdi particularly fascinating is the way he is described, as a being who came from the sky, not unlike the Anunnaki, who descended to guide the Sumerians. Huangdi's connection to the heavens goes beyond mythology. His story is filled with descriptions of celestial wisdom. It's said that Huangdi communicated with divine beings, gaining knowledge that far surpassed human understanding. Like the Anunnaki, he wasn't just a king. He was a bearer of cosmic knowledge, passing on technologies and teachings that helped shape the development of early Chinese civilization. Could it be that Huangdi's myth represents an encounter with the same beings who shaped Sumerian history? And then we have the dragons, perhaps the most iconic symbols in all of Chinese mythology. Unlike in Western tales, where dragons are often depicted as fearsome monsters, Chinese dragons are revered as celestial beings. They are symbols of power, wisdom, and control over the elements. Dragons are often described as having the ability to ascend to the heavens and descend to earth at will. In fact, dragons were considered the bearers of the seasons, bringers of rain, and protectors of divine secrets. One of the most interesting aspects of Chinese dragon mythology is the belief that dragons were celestial rulers. These beings were thought to dwell among the stars, controlling not only the elements of earth, but the very movements of the heavens. This concept of celestial beings governing both earth and sky is remarkably similar to the descriptions of the Anunnaki in Sumerian texts. The Anunnaki, too, were said to have descended from the heavens, bringing with them knowledge of the cosmos and the ability to manipulate natural forces. But it's not just their role as celestial beings that draws parallels between dragons and the Anunnaki. The ancient Chinese believed that their emperors were descended from dragons. This idea of divine rulers with origins in the heavens mirrors the Sumerian belief in the Anunnaki as gods who not only ruled from above, but directly influenced human affairs. We also see dragons playing a crucial role in Chinese mythology's explanation of cosmic order. Just as the Anunnaki were seen as the keepers of cosmic balance in Sumer, Chinese dragons were believed to maintain harmony between heaven and earth. One of the most important celestial dragons, Yinglong, was known as the responding dragon, a being of divine power who controlled the rains and ensured the balance of nature. This emphasis on cosmic control and harmony mirrors the Anunnaki's role as enforcers of divine will and cosmic laws in Sumerian culture. Another fascinating aspect of Chinese mythology is the belief in immortals, celestial beings who transcended the boundaries of life and death. These immortals, often depicted living in the mountains or riding dragons across the skies, were said to possess secret knowledge of the universe. In many ways, they resemble the Anunnaki, whose advanced knowledge of life, death, and the cosmos made them seem immortal to the people of ancient Mesopotamia. Just like the Anunnaki, the Chinese immortals were believed to have an understanding of the universe that far surpassed that of humans. These myths raise an intriguing question. Could the stories of Pangu, Huangdi, and the dragons be more than just tales? Could they reflect real encounters with celestial beings? Beings who, like the Anunnaki, descended from the stars, bringing knowledge and wisdom to early Chinese civilization. Chapter 3: Anunnaki and Technological Advancements in Ancient China. Now that we've explored some of the myths, let's go deeper into the big question: did the Anunnaki influence ancient China? When we look at China's early history, it's clear that this civilization achieved remarkable feats. From innovations in astronomy to breakthroughs in silk production and architecture, ancient China's technological and cultural advancements are astonishing. But what if these achievements weren't entirely of human origin? Could the Anunnaki have played a role in accelerating these breakthroughs? Let's begin with astronomy. Thousands of years ago, China developed highly precise star maps. In ancient China, stargazing wasn't just a cultural tradition, it was a science. Chinese astronomers meticulously tracked the movement of celestial bodies, recording solar eclipses, comets, and planetary motions with incredible precision. These records help them create complex calendars used to guide agriculture and daily life. One of the oldest known observatories, the Dengfeng Observatory, dates back to around 1000 BC, showing just how advanced China's understanding of the cosmos was. But here's the question: how did they develop such a profound understanding of the stars? The Sumerians, who were also expert astronomers, attributed their knowledge to the Anunnaki, who were said to have taught them how to read the skies. Could China's early astronomers have had a similar influence from celestial beings? In both cultures, the heavens were seen as a direct link between the divine and the earthly, and celestial beings played a key role in guiding humanity. Next, let's turn to silk production, one of the most important discoveries in ancient China. Silk, was highly valuable and played a significant role in establishing trade routes like the Silk Road. According to legend, silk production was discovered by Huangdi's wife, Lady Xilingshi, when a silkworm's cocoon fell into her tea and unraveled into a fine thread. While this is a charming story, the real question remains: how did China develop such an advanced and secretive method of silk production so early? The Anunnaki were often depicted as possessing advanced technology. Could they have passed on knowledge for creating this complex material? Silk production involves careful harvesting of silkworms and spinning their threads into fabric, a very intricate process. Could an external influence, one with superior knowledge, have introduced this process to China? Lastly, we can't ignore the Xi'an pyramids. These massive mysterious structures in Shaanxi province have baffled historians and archaeologists. The largest of these pyramids, the Maoling Mausoleum, bears a striking resemblance to the ziggurats of Mesopotamia. Both were aligned with celestial bodies, serving as stairways to the gods. The Sumerians built their ziggurats to honor the Anunnaki, believing these monuments connected heaven and earth. So, could the pyramids of Xi'an have served a similar purpose, designed to communicate with celestial visitors? The deep connection between rulers and the cosmos is evident in both Sumerian and Chinese structures. Whether built to honor celestial beings or to facilitate communication with them, the parallels between these pyramids and ziggurats are striking. But how did these two distant cultures develop such similar ideas? Some historians argue these similarities could be due to parallel development in human societies. Others suggest a more direct connection, perhaps through early contact between these cultures or through shared influence from a cosmic force. The more we uncover, the more questions arise. Could the Anunnaki's influence have stretched across continents, shaping the course of human history globally? Or are these similarities simply the result of independent evolution in different regions? Chapter 4: Shared Astronomical Knowledge between Sumer and China. In the ancient world, knowledge of the stars wasn't just important, it was essential. Sumer, known for its early star maps, was one of the first cultures to organize the sky into constellations. The Sumerians didn't just observe the stars, they mapped them with impressive precision, tracking the movements of planets, the phases of the moon, and the timing of eclipses. For them, the stars weren't just distant lights, they were symbols of divine will, tools through which the Anunnaki communicated their cosmic knowledge to humanity. But across the world in ancient China, a similar story was unfolding. As far back as 4,000 years ago, Chinese astronomers were mapping the heavens with extraordinary accuracy. They identified constellations, tracked celestial bodies, and created sophisticated calendars based on their observations. Like the Sumerians, the Chinese believed the stars held great power and directly influenced human destiny. Chinese astronomers even recorded solar and lunar eclipses with such precision that modern scientists can verify these ancient accounts. One of the most intriguing parallels between Sumer and China is the reverence both cultures had for the Pleiades cluster. Known as the Seven Sisters, this star cluster appears in the celestial charts of both civilizations. For the Sumerians, the Pleiades were associated with Ninlil, the wife of Enlil, one of the most powerful Anunnaki. The cluster represented cosmic harmony and was thought to guide the movements of the Anunnaki. Similarly, for the Chinese, the Pleiades, known as Mao, were one of the main constellations used to divide the sky. The cluster was associated with the harvest and seen as a symbol of cosmic order. Why did both Sumer and China place such significance on the Pleiades? Could it be that these ancient civilizations were tapping into the same cosmic knowledge? Some theorists suggest that the Pleiades might have been the home of the Anunnaki, or that extraterrestrial visitors came from this star cluster to share their knowledge with early humans. Is it possible that both Sumerian and Chinese astronomy was influenced by a shared celestial event, or beings who traveled between the stars? In both Sumer and China, rulers were seen as being connected to the cosmos. In Sumer, kings were believed to be chosen by the Anunnaki, using their celestial knowledge to guide their rule. In China, the emperor was known as a son of heaven, with his right to rule determined by the stars. Chinese astronomers worked closely with the emperor, ensuring that his reign aligned with celestial events. Both cultures placed immense value on the stars as not just a tool for scientific understanding, but a guide for ruling and governing. The stars weren't just objects to be studied, they were living maps of the cosmos, embedded with divine purpose. The Sumerians associated constellations with their gods' actions, while in China, the stars were home to dragons and celestial immortals who moved between the heavens and the earth. In both cultures, the stars told stories of divine beings who influenced the fate of humanity. This connection between celestial knowledge and governance went beyond just looking at the stars. It extended to monumental architecture. In Sumer, ziggurats were aligned with specific stars or constellations, acting as stairways connecting heaven and earth. Similarly, in China, ancient temples and observatories were aligned with the stars, ensuring harmony between the heavens and earth. Structures like the Temple of Heaven in Beijing were designed to reflect the emperor's divine connection to the cosmos. Chapter 5: Theories of Ancient Astronauts in China. Fringe theorists speculate that China, like other ancient civilizations, might have been influenced by beings who came from the stars, beings who some compare to the Anunnaki of Mesopotamia. But what is the basis of these theories? And what are the pieces of evidence that fuel the belief that extraterrestrial visitors may have left their mark on early Chinese culture? To explore this topic, we'll have to take a look at the ancient Chinese carvings and artifacts. In particular, some researchers point to carvings discovered in places like Sichuan province. These figures are noted for their exaggerated, alien-like features, large almond-shaped eyes, and elongated heads. These traits are often linked to modern depictions of extraterrestrials in pop culture. While many historians argue that these figures are simply stylized representations of gods or spiritual beings, others believe they might indicate contact with visitors from beyond the stars. The symbols found in ancient Chinese architecture also fuel speculation. At places like the Temple of Heaven, Some argue that intricate circular designs resembling star maps or celestial navigation systems could hint at a much deeper understanding of the universe. While traditional interpretations see these symbols as reflecting the Chinese focus on harmony between heaven and earth, some suggest that they might represent a blueprint for celestial travel, a possible link to knowledge imparted by extraterrestrial beings. The most puzzling piece of evidence comes from the Sangxingdui artifacts, discovered in Sichuan province in the 1980s. These bronze relics dating back over 3,000 years depict figures with strikingly unusual features: large eyes, exaggerated facial structures, and what some describe as strange headgear. Mainstream archaeologists interpret these artifacts as representations of gods or shamans from a lost civilization. But for those who lean into the ancient astronaut theory, these figures are far more mysterious. They argue that these could be depictions of beings so different from humans that they were immortalized in art as visitors from another world. What sets the Sangxingdui artifacts apart from other ancient Chinese art is their unique and almost alien-like appearance. The figures' elongated heads and large eyes are not commonly found in other depictions of Chinese deities or ancestors. Some theorists suggest that these artifacts represent a forgotten chapter in China's history, one where extraterrestrial beings may have walked among humans. Despite the intrigue of these theories, it's important to recognize that mainstream scholars remain highly skeptical. Archaeologists and historians typically attribute these ancient advancements, whether in astronomy, technology, or art, to human ingenuity and cultural evolution. They argue that the unusual features of the Sangxingdui figures and other artifacts are artistic stylizations meant to distinguish divine or spiritual beings from ordinary humans, not evidence of alien life. As we've discussed earlier, many experts point out that the technological advancements seen in ancient China, such as silk production and astronomical systems, were likely the result of centuries of observation, experimentation, and innovation. They emphasize that while the ancient astronaut theory provides a tantalizing narrative, there's no concrete evidence to support the idea that extraterrestrial beings influenced Chinese civilization, or any other early society for that matter. But fringe theorists argue that these symbols, myths, and artifacts remain open to interpretation, especially given their peculiar nature. Could the dragons, celestial beings, and immortals of Chinese mythology be more than cultural symbols? Could they represent a collective memory of encounters with beings from beyond Earth, beings who may have visited multiple civilizations around the world, bringing knowledge and shaping the course of history? In the end, while the truth remains elusive, one thing is certain. These theories continue to inspire curiosity and challenge our understanding of ancient history. Whether viewed as speculation or as a possible key to unlocking forgotten aspects of the past, the idea that extraterrestrial visitors might have influenced ancient China adds a new layer of intrigue to an already complex and mysterious civilization. And now, dear traveler, we have come to a momentary rest on this journey for now. Whether or not the Anunnaki or other extraterrestrial beings visited ancient China is still up for debate, but the connections between myth, celestial knowledge, and ancient artifacts certainly give us a lot to think about. I'd love to hear your thoughts, and do let me know what mysteries you'd like for us to explore next. History is full of patterns and hidden secrets, and I've really been enjoying researching these topics to get the conversation going. So if you enjoyed this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up so that we can drive more like-minded curious individuals to this corner. And subscribe for more videos from History Chibi. Until next time, keep asking questions, keep exploring the unknown, and remember, the past is full of mysteries just waiting to be uncovered. Good night.